Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And sporting my Brewers shirt today.
Yes, you are. Central Division champions. Not the way you'd want to win it, but they,
No.
They still had an all-out celebration.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in just a little bit. But going to start off on, I guess, kind of a somber note here. As longtime loyal high school teacher and coach Daryl Lashin passed away on Saturday.
Yeah, Lash, if there is an icon in the area in coaching, he's among them. And, he passed away like this week at 86, Larry. He started his coaching career in Peshtigo, then went to Middleton, but in Loyal he came in 1967, took over the wrestling program. He coached Loyal and later Loyal Greenwood to 25 Clover Belt Conference championships, 3 Bi-State Classic championships, 14 regional championships, and 3 state sectional championships. He coached more than 70 individual conference champs and more than 60 individual state qualifiers, including 6 individual state champions.
Wow.
And then another good story. In 1978, Larry, they started a softball program in Loyal. Mm-hmm. And when they started this, it was the thought it was going to be slow pitch.
I heard that, yes.
And it turned out as fast pitch. Well, the uniforms were ordered, so they went about it. Well, he adapted quickly. They won the state championship in 1978 and 79 and 80. And they made 6 other appearances in his coaching tenure. So he's a member of the Wisconsin Wrestling Coaches Hall of Fame and the Fast Pitch Softball Coaches Hall of Fame. And he will be missed. And we should say, up till even through last year, he was still coaching wrestling as he helped start up the Grattan program again. And he had a wrestler and they were wrestling conference. I believe he was second in conference, Wyatt Carl. And he did not place, I believe he placed like 5th at sectional, so he didn't advance. But he was still at it, even though close age. But now, so it's...
Well, back in August when I was inducted into the Marshfield Baseball and Softball Hall of Fame, he was there.
Yes.
He was there in August.
He was a member. So and of course, that's another thing in life there, too. Longtime slow pitch softball player.
Oh, yes.
He was a member of the iconic Wildcat teams of the late 60s and 70s. And he, even into his 80s, Larry, he was playing in like over 75 age tournaments out in Vegas and places like that. So, he
was a good softball player.
Oh, yes. Center fielder, leadoff hitter.
Very good hitter.
Wonderful hitter. So like I said, it's sad. It's our condolences go out to his wife Mary and his family. And like I said, his services are Friday at St. Anthony's in Loyal. October 28th, there will be a celebration of his life at the Sportsman's Club in Loyal. So that'll be a big time there. So
right.
They had originally planned this. They knew he had been ill, and they had planned it originally as a big wrestling reunion.
Oh, okay.
One last time, and he didn't quite make it to it, but they will celebrate his life on the 28th. So.
Okay, and the complete obituary is on our website, by the way, so
you bet. So.
You can check it out there.
Yep.
All right, hated to start with that news, but
it's like we said, Larry, he's an icon.
Yes, yes. All right, so I can't, I looked at my schedule here, and I can't believe it's week 7
already
of the high school football season.
It's been so much fun. It's went fast. I guess is the way
I guess so. Last week, not so much fun.
No.
Stanley Boyd came out and they took it to the Warriors.
Yeah. We made the comment last week, Larry. The Warriors were no longer the hunters; they were the hunted.
Yeah.
And they're going to get everybody's best shot from now. They got Stanley Boyd's best.
Yeah.
And they came out and played hard. Their offensive, defensive lines were tremendous against the Warriors, and they ran the ball well. Bryce Erickson was rushed like he hasn't been rushed all season. He was running away from traffic all night and kind of affected the passing game too. So
and once they fell behind 26-0 at halftime and the rain came down, you knew it was going to be tough to come back.
But give the Warriors credit too. They played in the second half. They outscored them 14-7 in the second half. So the kids didn't quit, but. You got to give credit to Coach Koenig and his staff. They really put up a good game plan against the Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors gave up 115 yards passing and 236 yards on the ground.
I said Carlin and Legrander, and they just kept coming at them. just kept at them, and they did a great job. So.
Well, they go into homecoming week this week where they will entertain Osseo Fairchild, and of course the Thunder winless on the season. But this Cloverbell Conference, don't look past anybody.
No, you can't, and quite honestly, you really better not because and it's a natural thing. Okay, we got Osseo this week, but we got Regis next week. No, we got Osseo this week.
Right.
And I think the Warriors got to get some things corrected, got to clean. Every week it seems like they've got something to clean up, and they haven't really played. Honestly, Larry, they have not played a perfect game this year yet.
No.
And so it's going to be a lot of things corrected, and the Thunder is going to come in ready to play. So.
Yeah, and with Mondovi beating Regis Thursday and Nielsville Granton losing, it's a 4-way tie for first.
So, and so you got to win every game too. So.
And the Warriors need a win to get into the playoffs.
Yep.
As there are, let's see, what did I read here? There's only a handful of teams that have clinched already. Auburndale, Edgar, Stevens Point, and Stratford.
Yeah, Spash has too. So. Stratford, Wittenberg, Burnhamwood, Edgar, Auburndale. So, there's a few on the waiting list at 3. So
Nielsville needs that win. Nielsville Granton, as does Mondovi. Well, everybody in the
Cloverbell does because they're all 3-1. So they all need that 4th conference win. And there'll be a dandy up at Stanley Boyd tomorrow night too. Regis at Stanley Boyd. Yeah. So we'll see.
Things could change at the top.
You bet.
And we talked about it last week. Mondovi actually kind of in the driver's seat.
They've played
all the top
3
teams
already. And they came out of it 2-1 with a big win up at Carson Park last Thursday night. It's. That is not it. That was, of course, Regis's first conference loss since 2017. But, really a great bounce back by Mondovi because they had taken it on the chin from Nielsville Granton the week before. So, but, they really bounced back. But be interesting to see how Regis bounced back and how Stanley Boyd comes back after a big, they're naturally going to be a little bit of a letdown. You wouldn't think so, but, because you got Regis coming in. But they played so well last week, it's hard to put 2 games like that in a row together. So.
Yeah, and the second half of that game, I've never seen rain come down that steady for a game.
I said you could just hear it splat on the track down there. And, and of course, up in the press box, we had to shut the window, so it was hard to see because there was a lot of hot air up there too. So,
And you know how dry it was because the field actually never got muddy.
No, it didn't. And I drove by that Tuesday night, Larry, and it is a beautiful green grass field again. So, so it'll look very nice for the game on Friday night.
They were putting the stripes out there on Wednesday because the middle school games were supposed to be played Tuesday.
Yep.
They're going to be played later today.
Yeah, originally they thought about switching those games Tuesday up to Loyal, but Loyal's field is fairly new too. They didn't want that mudded up either.
Nobody wants their fields ripped up.
But, if we get some sunshine, it should be pretty nice out there.
And it's supposed to be really nice for homecoming.
Yes,
Friday
74,
night.
75 degrees Friday, and should be a beautiful night. So.
Yeah, of course, all the homecoming activities that go along with it, the homecoming parade, and all that stuff coming up on Friday. Elk Mound at Mondovi. Don't look by this Elk Mound team.
And I was going to bring that up too. Yeah, they gave it to Fall Creek. They put 50 on Fall Creek, 50-20, and they played Regis very tough. So. That game after Regis is not going to be any cakewalk by any means.
No. And fortunately, maybe for Nielsville Granton, it's at home.
Yes, absolutely.
To wrap up the season.
Yeah, because they have always played Nielsville very tough up on their home field.
Yeah, so a couple of good games coming up in the Cloverbell. You got Elk Mound and Mondovi and Regis at Stanley Boyd. Could have an impact on the standings.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Elk Mound going. Mondovi might be a letdown time there too. So it's hard to see. And we don't know a lot about Elk Mound except they have a great back in Carter Veith. But other than that, we don't know a whole lot about them. So.
All right, and of course the Marywood Conference, they're beating each other up over there. The schedule this week, they got Abbotsford at unbeaten Auburndale. Yeah. And unbeaten Edgar is at Pittsville, and then Marathon is at Colby.
Yeah, I say Edgar looks like the real deal, Larry. They gave it to Abbey 43-0 last week, and Colby the week before. And to me, they almost look like the cream of the crop in Division 7 right now. So,
back to their old ways.
Yes, indeed. So.
8-man football, the big one there has New Auburn taking on McDonald Central. Both those teams are 2-0 in the West Division of the CWWC.
Yeah, last week, big game with Gilman defeating Owen Withee last week, 28-6. Big one there. So
Gilman's still number 1 in the state.
Yeah, and they have got Elma Center at Gilman this week. So
All right, so that's high school football. As like I said, I can't still believe we're in week 7.
Week 7. It's hard to believe. Except the leaves are turning colors. I
Yes,
guess
the leaves are turning.
That would be the only thing I'd say there.
All right, girls volleyball. Well, Neillsville not faring so well here in the Cloverbell Conference, getting beat by Gilman the other night.
Up there. That was kind of a surprise to me, but they come back at it. They host Spencer tonight at the Fieldhouse, so we'll see. So
And right now, Columbus Catholic, they beat Colby the other night, so now Columbus Catholic holds the top spot in the East at 4-0.
Yeah.
Colby and Loyal are at 3-1.
Yeah, Loyal playing very well.
Yeah.
And they Loyal is fairly young, but they are playing very. They've got some kids that's played as freshmen and sophomores last year and are coming back, and they've got a nice thing going up there. So.
McDonald Central, again, the top team over in the West. They are 4-0. Bloomer, Cadott, and Fall Creek all 3-1 over in the West.
McDonald, of course, defending state champions, so they're going to be tough to deal with all year, and it should be a good matchup if they ever come across with Columbus. So.
Yeah, I watched Columbus Catholic when they played Neillsville here, and they just do not let the ball hit the floor.
No, but
they dig everything out.
Did those teams play at? They have that diocese
tournament,
and they must have played at that. Columbus got first at it. I know that. So they must have played there.
Yeah, McDonald Central was there.
Yep. So.
And Columbus Catholic, I can see why that one girl had 1,000 digs, and she's only a junior.
Yes, I see that too.
Just the way they.
Nothing hits the floor, like you said. I watched that
out
on TV. They are very impressive.
Yeah. Girls golf, they have their regionals going on. They had some yesterday, and Black River Falls has a youngster going on. Zoe Hunter, we know her from hockey.
Yes.
She is going on to sectionals for golf.
Well, good for her.
She finished as a qualifier from the Westby Regional earlier this week.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Cross country, how about Loyal Greenwood taking first over at Edgar?
Yeah, that surprised me too, but they've got a stud runner in Connor Genneman.
He took first as an individual.
And he's kind of been running behind the Shears lately, but seems like he's gotten better as the season has went along. He's going to be a prime candidate going to state and is one of the better individuals in the state.
Columbus Catholic was there, but the Shears were not in the standings.
Okay.
So I don't know what.
Maybe they didn't run. Who knows?
They finished. Actually, they finished. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. They finished like 7th or 8th as a team.
Well, you take your 1-2 guys out of there.
It drops you pretty fast. Summer Smith had a good running for Loyal Greenwood, finishing 3rd.
She's having an outstanding year too. So, Neillsville today, Larry, hosts an invitational out at Levis. And this looks like a Neillsville and a bunch of Dairyland schools here. It's Melrose, Mindoro, and Oliva Strum, Whitehall, Blair Taylor, Cochrane Fountain City, Alma Center, Lincoln, and Neillsville. So
going southwest.
Yeah, I guess so. But it should be a good match. You got some good schools there. So and Tuesday the Warriors will be at Black River Falls running.
Okay, so some hilly country coming up.
You betcha. Yeah.
All right, where are they now?
Larry,
where are we going today?
We're going up to Stanley Boyd, and I'm going to talk about a 1976 graduate of Stanley Boyd, Mark Overgaard. Mark was a 3-year letter winner on the Oriole football team. His sophomore year, the Orioles were 8-2. Mark was a starter at offensive guard and defensive tackle. His junior year, the Orioles were 8-2 and Western Clover Belt champions. Mark was first team all-conference in the Western Clover Belt at defensive end, and an honorable mention at offensive guard. His senior year, the Orioles were 9-1. They were Western Clover Belt Conference champions. Their only loss that year was to the 1975 state champion Neillsville team in the Clover Belt crossover championship game. Mark was a first-team all-conference selection on offense and defense and was named to the All-Northwest first team at defensive end and was honorable mention All-State. In the winter, Mark was a member of the Oriole basketball team where he was a 2-year letter winner for the Orioles. His junior year, they were 7-15. Mark averaged 7 points per game. His senior year, the Orioles were 9-12, and Mark averaged 9 points per game. In the spring, Mark was a 3-year letter winner on the Oriole track team, participating in the shot put and discus. His sophomore year, he was a WIA Class B state qualifier in both the shot put and the discus. In his junior year, he again qualified for the state meet in both events, finishing 5th in the discus with a throw of 148 feet and 4th in the shot put with a toss of 52 feet 5 inches. His senior year, he again qualified for the WIA Class B state tournament in both events. He finished third in the discus with a throw of 154 feet and third in the shot put with a throw of 54 feet 8 inches. These distances are still Stanley Boyd High School records, Larry.
Oh.
Yep. After graduation, Mark enrolled at UW Stout and joined both football and track teams for the Blue Devils. His freshman year, Stout was 3-7. Mark was a backup on the offensive line. His sophomore year, Stout was 2-8 on the offensive line. Mark started offensive guard for the Blue Devils. His junior year, Stout was 7-3. Mark was a starter at offensive guard and was honorable mention on the WSUC All-Conference team. His senior year, Stout was 5-5 on the season. Mark was again honorable mention on the WSUC All-Conference team at offensive guard. In the spring, Mark was a mainstay on the Stout track team. He was a 3-year WSUC indoor and outdoor shot put champion. In his junior and senior years, he placed 4th and 3rd at the NAIA indoor national meet, earning All-American honors at both times. At the NAIA outdoor national meet, he placed 6th as a sophomore, 4th as a junior, and 2nd as a senior, earning NAIA All-American honors all 3 years. He also was a WSUC outdoor discus champion as a junior and senior, qualifying for the NAIA National Outdoor Meet. His senior year, he was WSUC champion in the javelin, again qualifying for the NAIA National Outdoor Meet. Today, Mark ranks 4th all-time at UW Stout on both indoor and outdoor shot put all-time lists. His indoor best was 54 feet 3 inches, and his outdoor best was 54 feet 6 inches. Mark was inducted into the UW Stout Athletic Hall of Fame in 1996. Mark graduated from UW Stout in 1981 with a bachelor's degree in business administration. Today, Mark is a consultant with Anchor Services based in the Houston, Texas area, which is a company that works on companies on talent acquisition, policy and program development, and performance management. Mark and his wife, Courtney, are currently residing in the Dallas area. Mark Overgaard, Larry, and from a personal standpoint, from a guy who played against him, he was a beast.
Oh, sounds like it, yeah.
He was 6'4", 220, 230,
wow.
and he was just not nice to play against.
Well, that's what happens when you're that size.
Yeah, and Stanley Boyd had some great teams in those days, too. So,
yep. Yeah, they played Neillsville tough.
Oh,
actually.
yeah, you bet.
I think that was... Back then, I think that was the state championship game or something.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, because they're about like number 1 and number 2 in the state. And, and the game was actually at Stanley Boyd, too.
Yeah, they didn't play like they do now where they go to a state championship.
Yeah. And that was the last year there was no playoff system.
Right, yep, 76.
Next year they went to the next playoff system.
Yep. All right, where are they now here today? On the show, let's see. You talked about what was it used to be called?
WSUC?
WSUC, now it's WIAC.
Yeah, WIAC, yeah.
The WIAC, they get their conference football schedule going this weekend.
Yeah, it was interesting. Last weekend, only one team in the conference play. Everybody else took the week off. So
yeah, so Eau Claire will be at Stevens Point on Saturday, Platteville at River Falls, Whitewater at Oshkosh, and Stout is at La Crosse.
And Whitewater at Oshkosh game will be big.
Yeah.
Very big there.
Both those teams ranked in the country. I believe Whitewater this week was ranked number 4 in the country.
Yeah.
One other note, from high school, Marshfield Tigers blew out Appleton West 71-6.
Yes, they did.
Did you see that? That was the first time in more than 100 years that they've scored 70 points.
Really?
The last team they played that they scored 70 points against, Neillsville.
Oh, really?
But Marshfield then was known as McKinley High School Golden Tigers.
Okay.
That was in 1920.
Yeah. When I was a freshman at Loyal, we played up at Fall Creek, and we beat them 70-0 that year up there. I always remember that.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good beating Fall Creek.
Yeah, and it was something that was one of our managers made a bet with somebody on the sidelines. It would be 50-0 at halftime, so there was a timeout before the last touchdown. And when he went out with the water, he told them to fake it, and they went for 2. And so it was 50-0 at halftime. So, but 70 points is a rare occurrence. And of course, we had it in the NFL.
Yeah,
that was.
And it could have been more there.
Yeah,
but they took a a knee or
Knees,
something,
yeah.
they could have had
Yeah.
a field goal at the end.
Yeah, as far as I know, the all-time record in the NFL is 73, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that was I think the 1941 championship
That was like
game.
a playoff game.
Yeah, for Chicago Bears beating Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. All right, so there you go. College football, the WIAC getting into conference play this week. But, of course, the big news actually there's two now because one came in late Wednesday. But the big news, the Brewers claim the NL Central Division crown for the third time in 6 years.
Yeah, the Cubs fell Tuesday night after the Brewers had lost. But, Brewers have played well all season, and they have got their pitching in line. They don't get much time to celebrate this season, though, because next Tuesday they start. And right now it looks like it's either going to be Arizona, Chicago, or Cincinnati. Oh, Miami, too. So
Right, yeah. There's a few teams that are still vying for that those final two wild card spots.
Yeah, and the Brewers might have something to say about it because the Cubs are going to be at American Family Field this weekend.
Right, yep.
But looks like, I believe Burns is pitching Thursday. I believe he's pitching Thursday. So it would mean Woodruff Friday, Peralta Saturday if they're going to stay. But I'm sure they're going to limit their number of pitches.
I would think.
Yeah.
And again, as you mentioned last week, all three of those games are going to be at American Family Field.
Yes. Yep.
Which whoever they play.
Yeah. And like
starting next Tuesday.
If you got Burns and Woodruff, you got to be a heavy favorite there. But you still got to go. They're going to come in with say the Cubs. They've got Steele and Stroman and those guys.
Arizona's got a good
Gallen
top
and So it's not going to be easy.
No.
So.
All right, so that's coming up. Again, the Brewers wrapping up the regular season this weekend at home against the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, one other baseball note, Larry. Brooks Robinson, the great Baltimore Oriole third baseman of the 60s and 70s, passed away the other day at age 86. And many people consider him to be the greatest fielding third baseman of all time. And
no doubt.
Yeah, he was a two-time World Series champion with the Orioles, 1964 American League MVP, and at one time he won 16 consecutive Gold Gloves at third base. And I always remember the 1970 World Series against Cincinnati. I don't know how many runs he took away from the Cincinnati Reds in that series, but he was just awesome. So
he made diving catches, diving stabs at balls. Yeah, he was good.
And he was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame, I believe, in 1983.
83,
yeah.
Brooks Robinson. He was a good one.
You bet.
All right, and then the other big news that came down on Wednesday, I read about this earlier in the week that the Bucks might have we're in the running to get him, but
it still surprised me because everything I had read Tuesday, Larry, it sounded like he was going to Toronto.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're talking about Damian Lillard, by the way.
Yes, yeah. And I was shocked when I seen this Wednesday afternoon, but they got their man, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Portland Trailblazers traded Damian Lillard to play alongside Giannis and the Bucks.
It was a three-way trade between them and with Phoenix and Portland, and Portland got Drew Holiday, and they also got DeAndre Ayton from Phoenix. So, and they have Milwaukee's unprotected 2029 first-round pick, and then swap rights for first-round picks with the Milwaukee in 2028 and 2030. So a
little ways down the line for those picks. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting and I see a lot of that now.
Yeah.
And then the Bucks also sent Grayson Allen to Phoenix. I suppose they had to free up a little room, but I think that also shows that they think that Beauchamp can step into that role of Grayson Allen.
Okay.
So we'll see. But
well, now they got Lillard. Now Giannis.
Yeah,
the talk all week or past couple of weeks here has been Giannis maybe not signing with the Bucks if they weren't going to go all in for a championship.
You don't know if this was something to keep Giannis happy, but anyway, Lillard, who's 33 years old, last year, Larry, he averaged 32 points and 7.3 assists. And that 32.2 average is the highest average ever of a player to change teams the following season.
Well, he's been wanting out of there.
And it's been the whole offseason. And, and most of the offseason said he was going to Miami.
Right, that was the big, most of the offseason.
But anyway, after the trade was made, the Bucks had been fourth highest in odds to win the title this year. They moved up to the top spot after the trade. They are now a 4-1 favorite to win the NBA title.
That makes sense. I just read a story earlier on Wednesday that said Drew Holiday said he would love to sign a contract extension that would keep him in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and he's, actually, I believe him and Lillard have about the same salary this season. I think they're both making $35 million this next season. Holiday has a player option for the following season. So I don't know what Lillard's contract.
Are they about the same age, too?
I believe Holiday's either 31 or 32. Lillard's 33.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, hopefully it works out here for the Bucks.
Yeah. It's a good move. It's I think it's a move made to shake up the team, Larry, and especially after last year's disaster in the playoffs, they felt they had to change something up here. So,
what I'm looking to see is how he works with Giannis because he hasn't had a guy like that
ever
with him. So he's been the guy.
Yeah, he's been the guy.
So now he gets to distribute to a guy.
And it's just not Giannis either. It's it's Middleton, it's Lopez, and so we'll see. But
they're talking Bobby Portis probably in that starting lineup too.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And then I don't know much about Lillard's reputation on defense but Holiday, is of course a longtime member of the all defensive team. So. You wonder if you're losing a little bit there too.
Yeah,
so, Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll know more in a few months.
I don't know. I talked to my one son, and he said it was a good trade.
Okay, and he probably knows more about this.
He probably does.
Than you or I do. So
I said, so what do you think? Is because I don't know. I look at it. Holiday didn't score as much.
Yeah,
but like you said, he played defense. And I think he distributed the ball more. He played like a true point guard. I don't know how Lillard – I've really never seen him play.
No, I haven't. That's the thing. Portland's been down, and then they play on the West Coast.
Yeah, so you never see
him. They normally play games at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. Well, that's well past you and I's bedtime. So most of the time. So, like I said, we'll see. There's a lot of things we don't know about him. And like you said, the kids know more about him than you and I do. So,
of course, the training camps open up next week for – most teams, the Bucks next Tuesday.
Yep. So
they'll get right in there with Damian Lillard.
Yeah, great time of the year when all the sports mix in together. One of the times.
They'll all be getting together here pretty soon. All right, the Packers, boy, I tell you, they look like dog water, I guess you could say, for the first three quarters.
I said, I wonder how many, I said, the only reason I seen the fourth quarter is because I had turned it to the Brewer game, and they were playing bad too, so I turned it back to the Packer game, and I did watch the fourth quarter, and it was interesting. It was great to see that they had a little fight left in them. And, it's so often, you make a couple of big plays, it just brings you up, And, you go back to the Nielsville game the other night. There was a couple of, Nielsville maybe been a little flat. They had a couple of chances to make big plays, and they didn't make them. That would picked up the whole team, and it just never happened.
Right.
Well, here he had a couple of big plays, and it picked up the whole team.
It's just amazing how that one quarter they look so much different.
Yeah. Yeah.
First three quarters, Jordan Love didn't look like he could hit anybody.
No, and it didn't look like anybody was on the same page either. Yeah. The offensive line, penalties, my goodness, penalties in the first half, and a lot of dumb penalties too, as far as I was concerned. I guess another thing that I thought was great was seeing Mr. Gary come back and getting 3 sacks.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to be a pretty awesome here, and so.
That'll be nice. Nice to get him back in there.
Got a big one tonight, though, really.
Yeah.
The division lead is up for grabs, and, it's the way you don't know what if the Vikings, I'm sure the Bears aren't probably going to turn it around, but, Vikings might. But, if you got the lead in this division early, it's going to be very important. And plus, for tie-breaking things, too, down the line, too. So, but from what I've read, it looks like Aaron Jones and Watson will be in the lineup.
Yeah.
So
probably not Bakhtiari. I understand.
And Jenkins. So they're going to have to, the Lions' pass rush hasn't been great, but if you don't have a great offensive line out, that's going to make them.
Keep your eye on Hutchinson. Yeah. He's the guy.
And he destroyed the Packers last year, both games. So
7:15 game time tonight on 107.5 FM WCCN The Rock. Of course. It's on Prime Video, and not a lot of people get that on TV. So
I'm listening on 107.5. So
tune in to Wayne and Larry.
Yep. So
all right, what other NFL games we got? Well, they got one in London this weekend.
Yeah, I'm not okay. They got a couple of nice big games. Miami at Buffalo.
Yeah, that'll be the big one.
That's the big one. Who is playing in Buffalo? I'm not even sure. I mean, across the pond. I'm not sure.
Atlanta is taking on Jacksonville
Okay. All right.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, it could be a good game. Jacksonville underachieving a little bit so far this year.
Yeah, they're not playing like I thought they
Yeah,
would.
they really got nailed by the Texans last week.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, other than that, I don't really see anything that pops out.
I said originally the Sunday night game was going to be a dandy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's Kansas City at the Jets. That ship has sailed. New England at Dallas, maybe Baltimore at Cleveland has a chance, I think. But and then
Yeah.
Monday night maybe Seattle at the New York Giants. But you almost have to say that between the Miami and Buffalo and the Detroit Green Bay game, those are the top headlining games of the week. I would say.
I would agree with you there.
so-
I would agree with you there. Apple announced on Sunday that Usher will headline the Super Bowl 58 halftime show
All right.
in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And let's see. The Chiefs' blowout win over the Bears was Andy Reid's 271st. He's now fourth all-time
Okay. Does it
in the wins list.
How many with probably half with Philadelphia, half with. I
Yeah.
don't even remember how long he was with Philadelphia. I think he was with Philadelphia about 10 years. I
Yeah,
think.
so maybe not quite half.
Probably more with Kansas City
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he had to build up in Philly.
Yeah.
He took over a pretty downtrodden program. Where Kansas City, he went in and started winning right away. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and he's going to win a few more with that offense. So
Yeah.
and it don't look like he's slowing down either. So.
No.
Now that he's doing State Farm commercials also. So.
Yeah. Well, he's about the only guy that's really well, Bill Belichick is still going. He's 17 away from Don Shula.
Yeah.
But other than that, Pete Carroll and Mike Tomlin
Mm-hmm.
are active coaches that have a chance to crack the top 10, but they're still a ways back with 174 and 173
Right, yeah.
wins.
17 wins for Belichick, huh? So
Yeah, Shula's got 347, Belichick's got 330
okay.
right now.
Yeah, so he'll pass eventually. Not this year, or maybe into next year. I don't know, but
And the Ryder Cup
yes,
starts tomorrow
in Rome.
In Rome.
Yeah, so I didn't know they had golf courses in Rome, but they're going to play. It should be good. So
Yeah, the U.S. Team USA hasn't won overseas since 1993.
yeah, they've really had their problems over there. They've pretty well dominated over here, but it just seems like it's a home thing. So.
Yeah, it's well, the courses over there are always different.
Yeah, you're playing more. What do they call that? Again, I can't think of the name of it, but
Scottish courses or
Yeah,
those kind of things where they have the pot bunkers.
yeah,
and
I just can't remember. But
I know what you're talking about.
There's a special name.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
can't think of it.
yeah. And
So-
I don't think the U.S. plays well on those courses.
No, they don't. Like I
That's-
said, I
that's
would.
where Team
don't-
Europe has that advantage.
Yeah, those bunkers, and then a lot. It seems like the grasses, and the rough
Yeah.
surface, tremendous.
Yeah, long and-
and
yep.
stuff. So.
Yeah, well, we'll see starting tomorrow with the 44th edition of the Ryder Cup.
Yep. So
Team USA is favored.
they are. They do have a nice lineup out there. So
Yep, they're favored. See what happens.
should be interesting. So.
Anything else you got?
I told my wife I would. She pointed this out for me,
Okay,
so my
all right.
wife gets credit for
Okay.
this. Marilyn, thank you. Haley Van Voris, safety for the NCAA D3 Shenandoah University in Virginia, became the first female non-kicker to play in an NCAA football game last Saturday against Jannada University, and she recorded a quarterback hurry.
Oh.
Previously.
Wow.
All other females that have appeared at any level of NCAA have been place kickers.
I was going to say, yeah, they were kickers.
Yeah.
What was her position? Did they say?
Safety.
Safety. Okay. Wow. Okay. Good for her, I guess.
So my wife thought that would be a good thing. So
All right.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Yes. Thank you very much. All right. Well, we've got a lot of stuff going on
Yeah.
tomorrow. Of course, homecoming in
Yeah, a
Neilsville.
lot of activities. I believe the parade is about 2:30, I think.
Yeah, roughly about that. Maybe a little
Yeah,
later.
So, and there's a bunch of activities up at school. And
All
then
day.
should be a nice night for the game, so get out there and fill the hill again.
You
So-
bet.
so-
Homecoming tomorrow night. Neilsville, Granton hosting Osseo Fairchild. You can hear it live on 92.7 WPKG starting at 7:15 with a pregame at around 6:35. That'll do it for Two Guys on Sports for this week. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you next week.